Good morning. Welcome to the Art of Being Favi. I'm your host, Favi Marti. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about losing weight. Specifically, me losing 28.6 pounds in the last 6 weeks. I mean, that's almost 30 pounds. Yeah, granted, I am a little on the heavier side, but that's still impressive. I would think. That's about 1/4 of my goal. My goal is to lose a little bit over 100 pounds, more than losing pounds or whatever. I actually want to get to the point where I'm down to about 13% body fat. So I'm not really sure what that is. I'll find out when I get to that point. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about it. I know it's been forever. It's been, I don't know, probably like a year and a half since my last posting. And I wanted to reach out to you guys because there's a lot of things that have been going on in my life. And a lot of them were positive. A lot of them not so much. I don't really want to get too much into that. That'll be a topic for another video. More specifically, I want to talk to you guys about how it is that I'm losing all this weight, and how it is that I even got to the point where I wanted to lose weight. I don't know if you guys remember, maybe you don't, maybe you've never watched one of my videos, but if you do remember, I did a video about, it was about feeling dead inside, and quite frankly, I still felt not necessarily dead, not like I wanted to die, but I really didn't give a crap whether I lived or died. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this PG. I dealt with a lot of things in my life, and I never really actually learned how to cope with a lot of the stuff that happened to me throughout the years. My coping mechanisms from the time I was in high school, it started out with drinking and smoking, and then when I stopped drinking so much, about the time I turned 21, I became more dependent on cigarettes and other forms of tobacco. And then by the time I got into, I don't know, about age 23, 24, I quit smoking, and then I became more dependent on eating my feelings. That's how I dealt with a lot of it. I don't know if I've ever actually talked about it, but my ex-girlfriend passed away. She was killed by a drunk driver. So that was something. It really affected me. Somebody that I had, been with, somebody who I had cared for at one point in my life, just suddenly gone. And I didn't really learn how to properly take care of it. I started to get back into fitness, started working out, and I got in pretty good shape, got down to 213 pounds, and I was able to wear a large shirt. I was able to sneak into a medium shirt. It feel a little tight. Well, depending on the manufacturer, sometimes it would be just right. Sometimes it would be tight. But yeah, I mean, I definitely could wear a large shirt, no problem. And I didn't have any saddlebags or any significant fat. After that, I think it finally just hit me, and I just kind of gave up. I gave up on life, and I stopped giving a crap whether I lived or died. And for that reason, I was able to put myself. I'll explain that selves part to you here in a little bit. But I got to the point where I was so, I guess, inundated with all these feelings that I had repressed over the years, and it just got to the point where I just stopped caring. I stopped caring whether I would live or die. Because of that, I'd put myself in situations that most people wouldn't. I was when I was working in my former line of work. Yes, by the way, I left working as a patrol officer for the school district that I used to work for, and I've gone to a different line of work, one that I actually really enjoy, and I don't really stress anymore. So that's definitely a plus. But back to that whole thing. All of that just kind of kept mounting. I kept eating more and more just to kind of cope and try to deal with it, even though the thing about it is, if you don't properly deal with those feelings, if you don't properly deal with those problems that you've got going on, then they're just going to eat at you, and they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I had a lot of problems that came up because of not knowing how to handle my stress. I believe to some extent that was part of what caused me to have hypothyroidism. Apart from that, I I put on a lot of weight. I put on about 160 pounds, something like that. At my heaviest point, I'll go ahead and show you guys some video of a video that I recorded back then. At my heaviest point, which was like 6 weeks ago, I was 372 pounds, and or 371.4 pounds to be exact. And honestly, if it hadn't been for going to therapy and learning how to deal with my feelings, I know feelings is, for some people it's a very touchy subject, and for me it was like I didn't want to feel anything. I did not want to allow myself to really feel things. I would pretend to try to feel things just for the sake of trying to feel like I was human. But in reality, like especially when it came to like negative feelings, but I just got to the point, guys, where I was just like, I was dying inside. I was in so much pain, but on the outside I didn't know how to let it out, and I just kept holding on to it. I started going to therapy about a little bit under a year and a half ago. I want to say about February of last year. So not quite a year and a half. Anyway, so I started going to therapy, and the type of therapy that I started going to is called Internal Family Systems, or IFS for short. I think I made a video about it, and I think that video, if you noticed, I had Bell's palsy, and my therapist told me that had to do a lot with stress. Yes, to some extent it was dealing with my former employer, because it was a very toxic work environment, and there was a lot of things going on that honestly I'm glad are behind me now, and I don't have to deal with that anymore. However, another part of it was the fact that there was parts of me that didn't want to open up, that didn't want to let everything go. And I believe that the reason why I got Bell's palsy was because I had a managing part. I'll explain more here in a second, but I had a managing part that wouldn't allow me to feel things, and wouldn't allow me to open up about things. And I kind of violated that part, and as a result, I ended up not able to move part of my face. Yet you might be asking, well, what do you mean part of you? And the best way that I can honestly explain it is either A, watch the movie Inside Out. It's a Disney movie, I think, or Pixar or something like that. Or B, just simply think of a time whenever you've kind of been torn between two decisions. Part of you wants to go this way and do this. Part of you wants to go this way and do that. And, they're both at odds with each other, and you're having a difficult time coming to a decision because, these two parts want completely different things, and to a lot of people that doesn't make sense. But so that's basically IFS, the basics, or the basis of IFS. It's the idea that you have all these different parts to you that were formed over the years. A lot of them, especially the managing parts, were parts of you that whenever something happened and you weren't prepared to handle it from a point of self, that part of you kind of splintered off and came to the idea that this is how we handle this type of situation. And if you actually dig deeper into it, I can recommend a book down below if you want to read it and just kind of learn more about it, and maybe even practice a little bit. It's been very beneficial to me. It's helped me kind of come together with parts of me that I had ignored for a lot of my life. It helped me get to a point where I could actually care for myself again, and love myself to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm worthy of working out and getting back in shape. I'm worthy of being in the best shape of my life. So that's what I'm working on, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys. If you've never been to therapy, I know it can be very daunting. For me, it was like, well, a lot of the time over the years, I was like, why do I need therapy? I'm not crazy. I don't have issues. I can fix this myself is another managing part that I had. But it's one of those things where looking back, and I'm happy. I'm glad, genuinely glad that came out and made the decision to start going to therapy, because my therapist, God bless her, she really helped me out through a lot. She helped me understand certain things that I never did understand as a kid, and never quite processed. I lived with a lot of guilt because of things that had happened to me when I was a kid, and someone had put into my head. Basically, somebody talking down to me all throughout the years, and basically making me feel like I was worthless. Like I wasn't worthy of just being me, of being living a good life. It's one of those things where if you're not ready for it, I totally understand it, and if you don't feel you need it, you don't need it. But if you are kind of like a little bit interested, and you might think that you might want some therapy, but it's still kind of a scary thing. I'm going to go ahead and link down below to a course that's totally free from a channel called Therapy in a Nutshell. I think the lady's name is, I'm blanking out on her first name. I want to say it's Sarah McAdams. I know her last name's McAdams. Anyways, definitely check out her course down below. It's totally free. I think there might be ads in it if you have like normal YouTube. For me, I have YouTube Premium, so I don't have any ads. And she does sell the course on her website if you like want the premium version with no ads and like the workbooks and whatnot. But honestly, you get a lot out of that course. And like I said, it's totally free. Just check it out if you're even the slightly bit interested in maybe seeing a therapist and learning how to deal with things. So guys, moving forward, I'm gonna continue doing like self-help type stuff, but honestly it's not gonna be my main focus. It's just I want to do a lot of things where this channel is an extension of me, so I'm gonna like try to sprout out into like different things. I hope you guys like it, because a lot of it's gonna be stuff that's like that I actually enjoy, that I'm like passionate about. Some of it's gonna be about film. I'm probably gonna do some like movie reviews or like video reviews from like different TV shows and stuff like that. So if you have any suggestions for like stuff I should check out, go ahead and drop a comment down below. I'd really like to get into like just kind of exploring, or like just kind of like traveling type videos. Those are kind of hard for me, because especially like when I'm traveling and I'm out on vacation, honestly picking up a camera is the last thing from my mind. It's one of those things where I really like to enjoy the moment, and I might take a few snapshots real quick, just to share with people, like, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing. It's a pretty cool time, but I'm not the best at doing a video and talking about all kinds of things, especially when it's a place that I'm going to for the first time. But yeah, stay tuned. I'll see you guys next week. I'm going to try to start dropping these videos. I think Wednesdays might be my day. By the time you guys see this video, it'll probably be a couple weeks old. But still, check it out. I'm going to try to drop videos every single week. And yeah, I'm going to make a commitment to like get back on this. I really love doing these videos. I love helping people out, and that's one thing that I found out over, the past year and a half, that I hadn't posted videos, and just talking to people that I hadn't seen in a while, talking to them face to face. They tell me, yeah, your videos helped me out with this and that. And, it's one of those things where I wish I hadn't quit doing videos, and I'll get more into the reason why I quit doing videos. It's related to advice from my attorney, and that's no longer applicable. I'm a free man, so I can talk about whatever the heck I want to talk about. So on that note, I'll see you guys next week.